With Path of Exile 2 early access launching in 4 days, I wanted to revisit my Titan Stun Hammer of the Gods idea. This one revolves around the Titan and extra damage against heavily stunned enemies, dual wielding two-handed weapons, and going for the heavy stun, dropping the Hammer of the Gods, and then Sunder to finish off the stun duration. We do have some idea about the requirements of weapons. We have here a level 47 two-handed mace, which needs 150 strength, which we need to double the requirement to wield those two-handed weapons in one hand. So I'm assuming that a level 70 or 80 weapon is going to use 200 plus strength, which means we need 400 strength plus at least to use the Giant's Blood notable in the end game. However, strength does give us some extra life, 2 life per strength as far as we know at this point. Which means we do have we had a little teaser of GGG in their presentation of a breach ring with max quality giving 170 life approximately. Now, it is similar to the Path of Exile 1 version if you get 50 quality, which you cannot do. But if you were to get 50 quality on a ring, you can get approximately 170 maximum life. If the stats are the same as in Path of Exile 1, you can get up to 80 strength if you get 50 quality on a ring. Which means we could potentially, instead of going for the life node, we could potentially just get a max strength roll on the ring, which would provide approximately 160 life. But if we get a notable like Polymathy, which gives 10% increased attributes, it could even give more life than the life node itself. We will have to see if those stats are similar or not. But as far as this seems, this could very well be the way to get the required strength for our weapon and getting some extra defense. Now, this is a little bit of a tangent. Now, the main point is the stun of this build. So we are going to use some ability like a Leap Slam as example to just trigger the heavy stun. We have Overpower and Ruthless, which have more stun build up. And whenever we heavy stun an enemy, we can use Devastate to get a fully broken armor debuff and get one Endurance Charge. I'm assuming this one does work on heavy stuns and not only normal stuns, but we will have to see. Now with that Endurance charges do nothing on itself, but we can use Seismic Cry, which means the next exerted melee slam is going to ignore physical damage reduction, and for every endurance charge we get in one additional ability exerted. Additionally, we could use the bleed chunks so that Seismic Cry could potentially bleed the enemy, or we can use Corrupting Cry instead to guarantee a bleed. But this one is a corrupted bleed, so I don't know if that works with the support skill we are going to look at in a second. Additionally, the warcry can be supported with empowered damage and empowered cull, providing even more damage and culling strike for our exerted attacks. Additionally, we have Ferocious Roar, that is the druid ability that transforms you into a bear and uses your warcry skills inside that ability. This could be a way to trigger the warcries if that ability is in the game, because the druid is not going to make it for the launch, but soon after at some point. It could very well be that they removed all the druid abilities just so we don't use an ability that is not fully functional at this point, or they just want to release the classes with all their skills at one point together. So it could very well be that this one is not in early access as well, and is going to be added later on. Now, after we stun the enemy, we use Hammer of the Gods. Hammer of the Gods is a cooldown skill that does a really huge amount of damage. 1300% attack damage of your attack damage in this ability. Because this is one of my big hitting skills, I want to support this with Fist of War. That one is going to increase the damage of our Hammer of the Gods by a huge amount, but it can only support that skill every 6 seconds, which doesn't matter because we have 24-second cooldown, and we are not going to be able to get it down to 6 seconds at all. We put all the biggest support gems we can get onto this skill, like melee physical damage, concentrated effect, a brutality, and as example, bloodlust. However, bloodlust only works against bleeding enemies, which is where the warcry comes in. We can potentially proc the bleed with seismic cry and bleed songs, or we use corrupting cry and hope that the corrupted blood counts as a normal bleed, making bloodlust feasible to support Hammer of the Gods. Additionally, I was contemplating on using Second Wind for second Hammer of the God drop, or something like Hourglass, which gives this ability even more damage, but a higher cooldown. However, I assume that if we go full stun build, we can heavily stun an enemy more than once every 24 seconds. So I'm going for reduced cooldown. This way we always have the option available to get Hammer of the Gods out whenever we get a heavy stun. Maybe we get a lucky pattern and get a heavy stun earlier. And we are going to finish the heavy stun duration with Sunder. Sunder has a little bit of an interaction with broken armor. It consumes broken armor but guarantees a critical hit, which means we should be able to use exploit weakness, which also consumes broken armor but gives more damage. I'm assuming because both of these instances consume armor, the broken armor debuff, we automatically get both of these effects. That is my hope. Also, we can use Hourglass. This way, this Sunder has now an 8-second cooldown. We get more damage, and because we only want to use Sunder in our combo, we don't really need to worry about the cooldown as much. And we also go and support the Sunder with some more support gems. We have potentially Physical Mastery, which gives +1. We have Pulverize for more damage, and critical damage because we have a guaranteed critical hit. This one is just extra damage and the downside doesn't matter. So that is the idea. Go for a heavy stun, get the warcry out, drop Hammer of the Gods with a lot of damage, finish the stun duration with Sunder, with a critical hit Sunder, and rinse and repeat. Hope that we get a stun every 20 or so seconds, so we get the Hammer of the Gods and Sunder combo, and hope the enemy dies.